Minneapolis, like many other cities around the country, is seeing a rise in the number of residents purchasing permits to allow them to raise chickens on their properties. Urban poultry farming has the potential to be a sustainable endeavor, as long as these new urban farmers take responsibility for their feathered friends. Mary Britton Klaus operates Chicken Run Rescue, a chicken and rooster adoption center in North Minneapolis.
The number of permit applications between Minneapolis and St. Paul have essentially quadrupled over the last couple of years, so there is an increased interest in having backyard chickens as well as other domestic fowl.
Being a veterinarian in North Minneapolis, I'm starting to understand that there are chickens in the city. I have my own chickens now, and I'm really enjoying them as companion animals and helping keep them healthy.
People approach us for a lot of different reasons. The first and foremost is companionship. People really respond to the whole idea of rescuing birds.
The reason I like chickens is because they make great pets. And you get the bonus of eggs.
I mean, they have personalities like you wouldn't believe. They have such great personalities. And Schmitty's always telling them what to do and how to do it. You know, he's just a fantastic rooster. I couldn't imagine a better rooster than that.
The process of getting permit from the city, what you have to do is you go to the city, animal control, then they send you out a list of all your neighbors in an area around you.
You go door to door with basically a petition, and you get to know the neighbors. 80% of the neighbors who live within 100 feet of our property line had to be okay with us having the chicken.
You're not going to save money on eggs by having a chicken or a few chickens in the city. I think recognizing them as pets and that they are an enjoyable city animal to have as long as you take good care of them is one of the reasons why people are starting to have them a little bit more. I also think people are really looking at, maybe having their own eggs, even if it means costing a little bit more. It's nicer, it's more natural, and you're getting fresh eggs, and it's nice.
What's going to happen is that a lot of people who don't necessarily go through the permit process are going to see the number of chickens in the city and get them anyway. The compliance rate for the dogs and cats in the city of Minneapolis for licensing is around 13% for dogs and around 3% for cats. Even though a lot of people are going to have permitted chickens in the city, the number is going to be exponentially larger of the people who are going to be routinely bringing birds in, not caring for them properly, and producing offspring that are going to be unwanted. Sustainability is something that you hear people say often. People that are doing things for the right reasons, ethical reasons, wanting to, participate in the production of their own food and lower the impact of, on the earth. Those are fabulous goals, but if you're interested in chickens, you got to recognize that you have an ethical responsibility. If you're only interested in hens, then you are going to be responsible for 50% of the birds hatched are going to be males.
When you're raising chickens, you're going to have, on average, 6 males and 6 females. And the hens are the ones that most people want for eggs and for laying and to be a part of their family. The roosters, which are the other half that come with them, are the ones that may potentially fight. They may cause more problems. They crow. And all of those things are not necessarily acceptable in the city. So hatching your own eggs is something that, unless you're willing to take the responsibility of the hens and the roosters, it's not a good idea. Yeah. I think caring for chickens in Minnesota really involves having a safe and warm place for them to be in the winter. they're not adapted to be outside in 20 and 30 below zero. They do suffer frostbite. They do have problems with their combs and with their feet. And they do get frostbite just like other small animals get frostbite. A lot of people get baby chicks in the spring, which is now, and they will raise them through the summer, not really thinking, well, where is this animal going to go in the winter? Not uncommonly do we end up with chickens come fall or early winter that are abandoned or that the people have decided not to keep, not really appreciating that these are living animals and not just a toy or something to see how it grows and then give up on it.
So she lost most of her comb to frostbite, and she lost all but 2 toes. Where's your foot? Where's your other foot? Here's one. And here's the other. So she just has these 2 toes in her little back digit. A lot of people that are interested in producing their own food have good intentions, and we fully support local food production, especially, gardening and things like that. But the complication comes when people realize how much work it really is to have the chickens in the city, and it is very costly. And so they're faced with a conflict because they don't want to support a very cruel industry that produces chickens or other domestic fowl for meat or for eggs. But they also are confronted with having to make compromises for the care of the birds. And that's where we run into trouble. If they're not purchasing commercial eggs because they don't like the way the animals are treated, they need to remember that, because when they start to cut corners for the birds that they're caring for, both in vet care, heating, cleanliness, the amount of space that the birds have. So all of the reasons, the good reasons that people want to raise their own chickens for the eggs, those are all good things, but the reality of the amount of work and the expense, sometimes they wind up in a kind of an ethical quandary.
As people branch out and search for new, safe ways to produce locally grown food free of the hormones and antibiotics found in the supermarket, Minneapolis should expect many more requests for permits in the coming months and years.